My son ordered for County Board of Commissioners. This time, let's do the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, we do the roll call, please.
Commissioner Weber, Commissioner Campbell,
Here.
Commissioner Jelzinski,
Here.
Here,
Here.
Commissioner Marino, Commissioner Swaney, Commissioner Hope. Commissioner Weber is absent, Mr. Chairman. The rest are all present.
Okay, thank you. Next up, we have an approval of the agenda. Is there any additions or deletions that need to be added at this time? If not, I will accept the motion to approve the agenda as presented. Moved by Marino, supported by Jelzinski. Any more discussion? All in favor, signify by aye. Aye. Opposed, the same. We have an agenda. At this time, I'd like to open it up to general public comment. Sign in your name. We have a 3-minute time limit, and this is for agenda items only. There will also be another open public comment at the end for anything. So at this time, I'll open it up to general public comment. Would anybody like to comment at this time? Okay, is there anybody online? Nobody is online. I will close the general public comment at this time, and we will proceed to the rest of the agenda. We have no presentations of special reports. We have appointments to boards and commission. First up, we have the Community Mental Health for Central Michigan. Would somebody like to, well, I'll just go ahead and read it then. Chairperson requests for a nomination for opening on the Community Mental Health for Central Michigan Board to complete a 3-year term ending March 31st, 2028, or until a successor is applied. Okay, at this time, I'll open up the nomination.
Chairman, I'd like to nominate James L. Hatton.
Okay, is there support for that? Okay. Is there any other nominations? Is there any other nominations? Any other nominations? Yes,
I will move to close nominations and cast unanimous ballot for James L. Hatton for Central Michigan Health for Central Michigan.
Support.
Community Mental Health for Central Michigan, excuse me.
been moved by Jelzinski, supported by Moreno, I believe. Okay. Any more discussion? If not, we will vote. All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Hatton will be appointed to the Community Health. Okay, next up, we have Commission on Aging Advisory Board, District 3 Representative. Chairperson's request for nominations for one opening on the Commission on Aging Advisory Board, District 3, representative to complete a vacated 3-year term ending December 31st, 2026, or until a successor is appointed. I will open up the nominations at this time.
Chairman, I'd like to nominate Stacy M. Keipinger.
Support.
Okay, it's been moved and supported that we, is there, at this time, would anybody like to say anything? I will open up the rest of the nominations. Is there any other nominations? Is there any other nominations? Is there any other nominations?
Mr. Chairman, I'll move that we close nominations and cast a unanimous ballot for Stacy M. Keipinger.
Support.
Been moved by Hope and supported by, did I catch that? Commissioner Swaney. Any more discussion? Seeing none, we'll vote. All in favor, signify by aye. Aye. Opposed, the same. We will make that appointment then. Okay, we have one more appointment for the Community Correction Advisory Board. Chairperson's request for nominations for one opening on the Community Correction Advisory Board as Communications Median Representative for a non-expiring term or until a successor is appointed. At this time, I'd like to open up nominations.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
I'd like to nominate Stacy M. Kai-Pinger.
Support.
okay, it's been moved and supported that we nominate Stacy M. Kite-Pinger. Is there any other nominations?
I have a question. Did anybody contact her to see if she wants to be appointed to two organizations?
Yes, I believe she was, Julie reached out to her.
Okay, is there any other nominations? Is there any other nominations?
Chairman, I'll move that we close nominations and cast a unanimous ballot for Stacy.
Been moved and supported that we cast a unanimous ballot for Stacy M. Capinger. At this time, any more discussion? We'll proceed to vote. All in favor, signify by aye. Aye. Opposed, the same. We will make that appointment. Okay, let's move on to the consent agenda, and let me see. I think we got to start over here this time. Would you like to take that, Commissioner?
Motion reads, move to approve and place on file the February 18, 2025 regular meeting minutes, the March 11th, 2025 Finance Committee of the Whole minutes, and the March 11th, 2025 special meeting minutes.
Support.
It's been moved and supported that we approve the consent agenda. Is there any more discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, signify by aye. Aye. Opposed, the same. That consent agenda has passed. Okay, let's move on to committee reports. So we have Finance Committee of the Whole. Why don't you make the motion, Commissioner Swaney, and then we'll discuss it.
Motion reads, move to ratify and place on file the February 14, 2025 invoice list in the amount of $158,559.53. The February 21st, 2025 invoice list in the amount of $2,427,744.65. The February 28th, 2025 invoice list in the amount of $246,941.62. The March 7th, 2025 invoice list in the amount of $1,680,375.61. The adjustments list dated February 13th, 2025, and the adjustments list dated February 27th, 2025.
Support.
Been moved and supported to place on file. Would you like to take this, Administrator?
Thank you very much. For the February 14th, 2025 invoice list that totals $158,559. Out of that amount, $49,052.18 came out of the general fund. Some of the larger items, that's $5,000 and above, includes January financial services for Manica Sterian, PC. They assisted us in our audit this year. And HATS was the biweekly animal control contract of $5,961.54. And I should go back to Manica Sterian, the amount was $13,811.50. I apologize. And then we had two large invoices to Spicer Group for the drains office, $15,596.50 and $38,583.88.
Are there any questions on that one? Okay, let's move on to the next.
Next up, we have the February 22nd, 2025 list, total of $2,427,744.65. Out of that amount, $28,750.60 was out of the general fund. Portion of that was Acrisure for $14,209.43. That is our 90-day prescriptions for our insurance. $6,045 for January monthly legal services to Cole, Stoker, and Toski. And then some of the one big one was for a tax disbursement to the Gratiot Isabel Intermediate Schools in the amount of $2,903.05.
Comments? Okay, let's move on to the.
Next up, we have the February 28th invoice list totaling $246,941.62. Some of the bigger ones over the $5,000 is the MRP Properties. That is with the two sites that we're leasing for $17,091.46. That's the temporary administration building rent for April. Acrisure again for dental and vision expense for insurance. And then Michigan Municipal Risk Management in the amount of $75,160.75. And then going back out of that total of $246,176,688.89 was out of the general fund.
Questions? Let's move on to the next one.
March 7th, 2025, total list, $1,680,375.61. Out of that, the general fund is $101,592.62. Part of that was a large check out of this was for the Clark Construction for the correctional facility. We had Spicer Group for solar plant services for drains. And then various other tax disbursements that went out, and we had a couple out for parks that went out as well for fire rings. That was part of the 2% grant.
Any questions? I do notice that the child supervised. Hopefully that won't be there next time. They'll move on. So it's always one that I always look at. So, okay, any questions on that then? Let's go up to the adjustment list.
Next, we have the adjustment list dated for February 13th, 2025. This adjustment list includes any invoices that were paid early to avoid late fees or to get early discounts. And a couple of them were to correct earlier mistakes that was caught before they were sent out. One of them was for an Apex software. The invoice is reduced by $520, so that was reduced down, so it made this list. And then the rest were JP Morgan Chase, City of Mount Pleasant, and Gordon Food Service and Coin Oil were some of the bigger ones on this adjustments list for February 13th.
Okay, any questions on that?
And last is the adjustments list for February 27th, 2025. These are all invoices that was paid early for a discount or to avoid late fees. There was no errors on this one. The Gordon Food Service predominantly took up about 50% of them, and Consumers Energy took up the other ones. So it was food and energy with these early payments.
Okay, any questions? Okay, no more discussion. We have a motion on the floor. We will proceed to vote, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Campbell,
Yes.
Commissioner Jazinski, Commissioner Marino, Commissioner Swaney, Commissioner Hope, Commissioner Engler. 6 ayes, 0 nays. Motion passed, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Commissioner Hope, would you like to take that one?
Certainly. Item number 2 is Heartland Material Management Planning Committee. A motion reads, move to approve the applications. Jason Moore, Frank Engler, and Charity Sweet to be seated on the Heartland Material Management Planning Committee.
Support.
Moved by Hope, supported by Jazinski. We'll open up the discussion. Do you want to comment on that or?
If I just briefly talk about the background, if that's okay,
Yes, yep.
just for the public to hear. This amends to Part 115 of the Solid Waste Management of the Natural Resources and Environmental Protection Act, 1994, PA 451, as amended, require each county in Michigan to have a materials management plan. On January 8th, 2024, the State of Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes and Energy called on each county in the state to start working on MMPs to replace their county's solid waste plan. In addition to protecting the environment and public health, the goals of an MMP are to ensure that managed materials, which is recyclables, organic materials, and solid waste, are sustainably managed to achieve benefits to the economy, communities, and the environment. New MMPs will ensure that all managed materials generated at the planning area are collected and recovered, processed, or disposed of properly at materials management facilities like ours that comply with the law, Part 115. So this is done up by Mr. Jake Borton, who is the director of the recycling center. He's been working on this a long time. You guys have seen many plans come in front of you. So this just puts the three appointees on here, which would be Charity Sweet. She is the materials recovery facility operator. Jason Moore is the anaerobic digester operator, and then Commissioner Frank Engler is the elected official. And then each county will be representing the applicants to represent their county to their Board of Commissioners or CA for approval.
Okay, any more questions on that? Any more comments from Mr. Borton back there? It's nice to have you back. Okay, seeing none, we will proceed to vote. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Yes.
Commissioner Marino, Commissioner Swaney, Commissioner Hope, Commissioner Campbell,
Yes.
Commissioner Engler. 6 ayes, 0 nays. Motion passed, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, let's move right on to Commissioner Campbell. Would you like to take the next item?
Yes.
Item 3, prime contract change, order number 34. Move to approve prime contract change, order number 34 with Clark Construction in the net additional amount of $16,346 and authorize the board chairman to sign this same. Roll call.
Support.
Been moved by Campbell, supported by Marino. Discussion. Would you like to comment on this one?
I will just briefly touch on this. Attached, you'll see is the prime contract order, PCCO number 34. With Clark Construction, that includes a multitude of changes. The net total of all changes incorporated at this time is additional $16,346. This will not be taken from the contingency line. Rather, this will be deducted from the buyout that is accumulated with Clark Construction through previous deductions and value engineering efforts. There's a total of 15 separate change orders on individual items. Most of them were relatively small, just different ceilings, coatings, paintings, and drywall repair. Just stuff that you would see as a final touch-up as they reach, be able to get occupancy on this.
Oh, we had quite a discussion with Heidi. Yes.
I know there was a little bit of confusion on last Tuesday from some people in the audience, thinking that because we listed out every single one, and we're talking about, moving toilets or repairing some things that may have been damaged by other construction companies. And when those corrections are made by the construction company is charged. So like if drywall's repaired and it was damaged by concrete construction company, the concrete construction company is paying for those repairs. So I know that there was a public comment on that kind of mistook, I guess, some of those charges.
It's a little confusing. It's quite a long adjustment list, but everything that's changed gets recorded. So,
Yeah.
yes, Commissioner.
Public comment about, there's some criticism about moving the toilet. Should the architect have been able to seen the need for proper placement of that toilet? Well, I know over the year that this building's under construction, we had the toilet placed, it was fine. Department of Corrections came in, it required a privacy wall, which was put up. And so this was after the fact. Then it was discovered that there wasn't enough room required for the building code for that. So it required some change. So I think our architect did a relatively good job throughout the project. There are some things that were missed, but we went with the architect we thought was going to do the best job, and was a low bid. We went with the low bid, and this was the first jail project for that, particular architect. So all in all, I'm very pleased with the way this project was rolled out, and the fact that we're so far under budget with the project, even with this latest costs.
Okay,
I think the only thing left is possibly some landscaping that'll need to be done once the weather breaks.
On the punch list, yes, that's all there is required is the landscaping.
It's done and occupied and.
Yes, sir.
okay. Done with discussion. We will go ahead and vote. So Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Marino,
Yes.
Commissioner Swaney,
Yes.
Commissioner Hope, Commissioner Campbell, Commissioner Jazinski, Commissioner Engler. 6 ayes, 0 nays. Motion passed, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Marino, would you like to take the next item?
Item 4 is contract between Isabella County Parks Commission and Isabella Corporation. The motion reads move to approve the contract between Isabella County Parks Commission and Isabella Corporation for renovations to the campground bathhouse at Herrick Recreational Area in the amount not to exceed $193,000 and authorize the board chairperson to sign the same.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. We'll open it up for discussion. Yes, Commissioner.
Bathhouse was constructed in 1985, so it's been there for many, many years. There hasn't been a lot of improvements to it, and back then we didn't have the ADA requirements and the like. So, you know, the sidewalks need to be changed. We need to have some accessible showers, and so I think this is a very good project. Knowing the age of that building, there are doors that are just rusting off, and it'd be good to refresh that, and it'll be good for the campground that this bathhouse serves.
And most of the money will come from the Spark grant, about 319,000, and then there's a remaining little over 100,000 that will come from park funds. And the bathhouse, like Commissioner Jazinski said, was built in 1984, has had upkeep over the years, but no renovations to it. Needs a roof, needs siding, needs doors, needs lighting, and needs to be ADA compliant. Need to have at least one stall that's ADA compliant, so.
And without those upgrades, you wouldn't get the rest of the grant. So they were pretty well required to do those upgrades.
And I would just like to do a quick shout out to Director Hansen, who spent a lot of time on this, going back and forth with the developer on this one and going back and forth with the grantees and just trying to get something to fit in and what we can and can't do and stuff. She spent a lot of time on this one. So kudos to her for sticking with it and getting this money.
That we will proceed with the vote.
Commissioner Jazinski, Commissioner Marino, Commissioner Swaney, Commissioner Hope, Commissioner Campbell, Commissioner Engler. 6 ayes, 0 nays. Motion passed, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. So let's start on over. Commissioner Jazinski, you want to take that one?
Resolution 2025-01, submittal of recreation passport grant application. Motion reads, move to approve resolution 2025-01, authorizing the submittal of a recreation passport grant application to support Herrick Recreation Area Cabin Improvement Project, and authorize the board chairperson to sign the same.
Support.
Been moved and supported, moved by Jazinski, supported by Swaney. Discussion? You want to talk about this, Commissioner?
Years and instituted the cabins. I think we had the first 5 cabins at Coldwater. And then we had an improved version at Herrick, which the design tested was really well received by the public. However, we use T111, which over the years has dry rotted on the bottom. And it's time to refresh those cabins. It's a moneymaker for the park, and we need to keep these items up to date. I think there'd be some, by that time ADA did exist, and we did make some ADA design modifications to the original plans for those cabins. I'm sure that the actual ADA for the sleeping area probably is needs to be improved on.
I'm sorry, did somebody else?
Nope, you're set. Go ahead.
The financial impact on this, it's $131,300 grant request. And there'll be a $43,800 match, which is a $25 minimum match requirement. And this will occur in the 2026-27 fiscal year. Total project costs $175,100. The grant application is due April 1st. Where the funds come from, it's the passport grant funds are made possible through the annual renewal of Michigan license plates. For $14 in addition to your plate renewal fee, Michigan residents receive an annual pass to all Michigan state parks. Non-residents pay $41. Then a portion of this goes to help communities like Isabella County to improve the facility. So that's where the funds are coming from.
The constituents passed that millage, so they obviously want and support the parks.
Okay, any more discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Marino,
Yes.
Commissioner Swaney, Commissioner Hope, Commissioner Campbell,
Yes.
Commissioner Jazinski, Commissioner Engler. 6 ayes, 0 nays. Motion passed, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Commissioner Swaney, you want to take the next one for us, please?
Motion reads, resolution, next one. Agreement between Isabella County Trial Court and the GB. Motion reads, move to approve the agreement between Isabella County Trial Court and the Government Employees Labor Council and authorize the board chairperson to sign the same.
Support.
Moved by Swaney, supported by, I'll give it to Jazinski. Tight call there, but I'll give it to him. So, you want to handle this one?
Background on this is that the Isabella County Board of Commissioners has a fiduciary responsibility for all county operating departments, whether managed by an elected official or not, or appointed. The Government Employees Labor Council has reached an agreement with the Isabella County Trial Court for a 3-year contract effective January 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2027. Fiduciary approval of this contract by the Isabella County Board of Commissioners is needed to authorize the county administrator controller to adjust the pay grids, increase salary and wages, and adjust other related financial components. The pay grid and salaries and wages will be increased by 2.5% effective March 22nd, 2025 with no retro pay.
A 6-month period, correct?
So they're not having to go back and do a
Right.
retro pay on that. And then the reopener will begin on January 1 for wage reopener of 26.
Okay. Any more discussion? And we'll proceed to vote. Madam Clerk.
Swaney,
Yes.
Commissioner Hope, Commissioner Campbell.
Yes.
Commissioner Jazinski, Commissioner Marino, Commissioner Engler.
Yes.
6 ayes, 0 nays. Motion passed, Mr. Chairman.
At this time, Commissioner Hope, would you like to take the last one?
Item 7 is COLA increase for non-represented employees. Motion reads, move to approve the 2.5% COLA increase for non-represented employees effective March 22nd, 2025 with no retro pay, and approve the attached budget amendments and authorize the board chairperson to sign the same.
Support.
Been moved by Hope, supported by Marino. Discussion. Would you like to comment? Same thing?
Sure. Just a brief background again, is that the Isabella County Board of Commissioners has historically tried to keep the non-represented employees of the county on par or close to what other union groups have received in the county. To maintain this pay equity, the pay grid and salaries and wages would need to be increased by 2.5% effective March 22nd, 2025 with no retro pay. And attached with this is the necessary budget amendments that would be needed.
Okay. Any more comments? Yes.
Say, we know that over the years, we've been having like almost a revolving door in some positions and departments because of not being competitive with the market. And it seemed like we needed to do something, not only with represented employees, but the non-represented employees to at least provide something. Inflation is getting tamed a little bit right now, but it's been something that's been hurting the pocketbook of all the employees of the county. So it's nice to be able to do at least 2.5%.
Okay, any more comments? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Hope,
Yes.
Commissioner Campbell,
Yes.
Commissioner Jazinski, Commissioner Marino, Commissioner Swaney, Commissioner Engler. 6 ayes, 0 nays. Motion passed, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, next up, we got I think how we'll handle this, Commissioner Campbell, you're gonna have to talk quite a bit. Why don't you go ahead and read all that? And then we'll second it, and then we'll make a comment on every one of them.
You want me to do them individually?
I would read the whole motion, go right down, do the whole thing. Yeah, please, if you would.
Makes Saginaw Chippewa Indian Tribe of Michigan, spring 2025, 2% request. Move to approve the following Saginaw Chippewa Indian Tribe of Michigan semi-annual 2% request, prioritizing and presenting the Saginaw Chippewa Indian Tribe by the required date of March 31st, 2025. Roll call. Commission on Aging requesting 587,196 for programs and services. Applicant project priority critical. Isabella County Trial Court requesting $52,065 for adult recovery court program. Applicant project priority medium. 911 emergency management request $114,100 for backup dispatch radio council. Applicant priority high. 911 emergency management request $53,305 for command control vehicle. Applicant project priority medium. Material recovery facility requesting $132,256.75 for new roll-off truck. Applicant project priority critical. Isabella County Drain Commission requests $275,000 for the Wademan Mill Pond Park Dam repair and lake level order update. Applicant project priority critical. Sheriff Office requesting $100,000 for full body scanner. Applicant project priority critical. Humane Animal Treatment Society hats requesting $40,000 for shelter improvements. Applicant project priority medium.
Okay, can I have a support?
Support.
Been moved by Campbell, supported by Swaney. You want to take them off and explain really quick?
I'll try my best.
Just
There's a
really,
lot of narration on these.
there's a little, just real for the,
On
normally the board sends these to the tribe for a 2% request, and it's up to them to determine which ones they approve and which ones they don't approve, so.
And what we have is that the department head that puts these requests in, they're the ones that determine the critical, high and medium priorities for that. So typically, I think the board has always kind of went along with what those requests were, but again, the board could always change that if they so choose on any of these designations. The first is the Commission on Aging for the 587,196. This is a reoccurring request, and it serves a variety of needs. Just some I'll highlight: case coordination and support, case management. Portion of this is to be $96,400. For respite care portion would be $57,334. Personal care, $57,334. Homemaking, $50,488. I won't go through the whole thing, but it just goes to show that a portion of what the Commission on Aging utilizes comes from the 2%, and it's very vital for the operation for them to submit this request, and the tribe has been very, very generous to the Commission on Aging for a number of years, and I forgot the dollar amount that they gave, and I want to say it's upwards of $10 million or something like that over the course, and so it's very critical. Next one we have is the Isabella County Trial Court requesting $52,065. Project priority medium. What I will, instead of going through the narrative, we'll look at the budget items. We have the drug and alcohol testing at Compass. There's drug test of urine, there's drug tests for the oral, transportation cost, treatment cost, incentives, and training and education. And so this is to, I'll just read the one. The Recovery Court, previously known as the Adult Drug Court, was established in 2003. The purpose of the Recovery Court is to provide therapeutic intervention and treatment to participants who have drug and alcohol addictions, thus allowing them to become healthy and productive members of the community. Unfortunately, we continue to see the devastating effects of the opioid epidemic and more recently, the significant rise in the use of methamphetamines in our community. Our experience as combined by various national studies shows that participants who receive counseling, job training, and educational support along with regular drug and alcohol testing while in a program generally have better long-term results.
If commissioners have comments, step in, please, before we go to the next one. So,
No, one of the critical reasons for asking for this 2% for the adult recoveries, because you get state grant for supporting that program, and that's required, but they never give you the amount you request. It's always low.
any more questions? Let's move on next one then.
Next one is, this is an amended one that was, the dollar amount is different than what you've seen last Tuesday. It's the 911 emergency management requesting $114,100 for backup dispatch radio console. This is a high priority. When you had this in front of you before, the total request was $314,100. And with your packet that I sent in front of you today, you should have had a revised number. And I apologize for not pointing that out earlier. What changed on this is that Director Gaddis was able to find two participants in this to lower it down to $114,100. One of them is the CMU is chipping in $100,000 for this, and the sheriff, there was money left over from the tower grant that they received. That could be used for related public safety communication projects, kicks in another 100,000. So the request is a little over 100,000. There's 200,000 in local match. What this is in an overview, is that the Isabella County Central Dispatch Backup Center, located on Central Michigan University's campus, requires that the installation of a new radio console system due to the current equipment reaching its end of life. The existing system, which is critical for communications and first responders, emergency services, and other departments, has become unsupported. The replacement project aims to ensure uninterrupted high-quality communications during emergency operations and enhance overall service reliability. And like I said, we've secured $200,000, or Chad has secured $200,000 to go towards this project cost.
Okay, no questions. We'll move forward to the next one.
Okay, the next one we have is the 911 emergency management requesting $53,305 for command control vehicle, applicant project priority and medium. This right here is the acquisition of a new command control vehicle for Isabella County Central Dispatch and Emergency Management. Will offer significant benefits to Isabella County and its community partners, particularly in the realms of emergency management, response, safety, and interagency coordination. So some of the advantages that was listed by Mr. Gaddis was enhanced emergency response and coordination, faster, more efficient incident command, increased safety for the county and community, better collaboration, public safety, boosted community resilience, and then, long-term preparedness and capacity building. This would also allow for, if it's a large enough vehicle, to pull some of the larger vans and equipment that they have around as well.
Okay, comments? Okay, let's move on to the next 2% request.
Next, we have Materials Recovery Facility requesting $132,256.57 for a new roll-off truck. This has been labeled as critical. And on this, project description, the 1999 roll-off truck has been in the fleet for 19 years. That's a long time. Throughout the years, they've been able to keep repair and maintenance costs at a minimum, although the truck has been reliable, it's showing excess signs of wear. Taking into consideration the year of the truck, we are now experiencing major engine issues as well as rusting of parts that are getting hard to obtain for the replacement. And if we have the ability to replace it all due to the degradation, the cost to repair the truck, to keep it operational and able to pass it a yearly Department of Transportation inspection exceeds the worth of the truck.
Support this one. I know that we have out-county sites that are heavily used, and I happened to be at a Code Township meeting one time, and they were talking about they were being charged by the village to clean up all the mess that was resulting from the people using that. Most of it was cardboard, and I've gone out there myself, and I did talk to Charity, and I was, lo and behold, about a week and a half ago, I was out there and I saw that there's 2 cardboard collection things. To get those in to Murph, you gotta have these trucks to be able to pick them up, and I know we've had Lincoln Township as a new site that wasn't there in the past, only because they had curbside. They lost their curbside, and now they have right there by the township hall. So these trucks are very important, and they roam over the county for a lot of miles each year.
Okay, any more comments? Okay, let's move on to the next one.
Next is from the Isabella County Drain Commission requesting $275,000 for the Wademan Mill Pond Dam repair and lake level order update. Applicant project priority is critical. I will read this background right here. The Isabella County Drain Office is responsible to maintain and operate the legal lake level as well as routine inspection of the Wademan Mill Pond Dam. This dam is regulated as a significant hazard dam, which means the potential for the loss of life if a failure occurs. During the most recent inspection in 2022, areas of significant concern were identified. The earth berm shows signs of seepage, sediment transport through the berm, erosion on the upstream side, in addition to extensive brush and tree growth. The current proposal includes engineering, legal, and other necessary costs for the preliminary engineering and design of a project to reconstruct the earth berm. As part of this process, updates to the lake level order in the circuit court will be necessary and are included in the proposal. Upon completion of the currently proposed project, an accurate lake level special assessment district will be established to serve as a funding mechanism for any necessary future maintenance on the dam.
Comment on that. I'm glad that there'll be a stable source of money to keep updating it. You know, before it just went on for a long time, and I think this will really provide for much more stability in that with the
Well,
funding
I
source.
think the regulations really increased after the Sanford Dam incident out there. So that was before they upgraded, all our dams had to be inspected in the county, and that's what they found, that they needed to be upgraded. Like I said before, they were kind of ignored, but now we have to fix.
Important to point out, if we get the $275,000, this covers legal and some engineering costs. Doesn't include the actual work that will have to be completed, which would be, that'd be a separate budget, will have to be assessed to the people that benefit from that project, which could be, I don't know, working on dams anymore, especially when you see what happened up north. It could be an expensive project, but that's down the road. But this is just the beginning to see what we need to do.
I think like with the Wademan one, it was more of an erosion issue, so maybe, you know, there's not a lot of rebuilding on there, but they'll have to be up to specs. I know they had problems probably years ago with the Isabella Lake Dam, which is separate as far as.
It is going to be, this is going to tell us what we have, and of course, Eagle is going to be involved in this project too, as we move forward.
Okay, any more? Okay, let's move on to the sheriff's office request.
The next one we have is from the sheriff's office requesting $100,000 for full body scanner. The applicant project priority on this is critical. Just going to briefly just go the one paragraph right here. The Isabella County Sheriff's Office and Jail is seeking funding to acquire a human body scanner to enhance security and safety within our correction facility. The necessity of this equipment cannot be overstated. Our records indicate that since January 2023, there have been 147 reported attempts to smuggle or possess narcotics, paraphernalia, and other intoxicants inside our facility. With over 2,000 inmates processed annually, the risks associated with contraband are significant, and failure to address this issue exposes our facility to life-threatening situations and costly liabilities. The total request is $100,000. There is $50,000 that we're looking to get as a grant from the Michigan Municipal Risk Management Authority. And then the other amount will be coming from the sale of the older police vehicles that won't be utilized.
Okay. Yes.
I'm just glad that the sheriff has worked to try to find funding for this. It was too much money to pull out of the general fund, but very kind of a critical piece of equipment. What I didn't understand prior to the discussion on this is that full cavity search is illegal. They can't do that without a warrant. So people do smuggle stuff in. A body scanner would make everything safer, the staff, the inmates, everybody. So I support this.
More comments? Okay, the last one.
Last one is from the Humane Animal Treatment Society. HATS is requesting $40,000 for shelter improvements. And right here it said the HATS has found a cattery system for the lobby that are easy to clean, rust-proof, and ensure that we can manage the spread of any infectious diseases to keep the cats healthy and ready for new adopters. This past year, we have dealt with case after case of ringworm, and the quarantine period is incredibly long. That means the average length of stay for our cats have gone up significantly. With the new catteries installed, we're hoping to eliminate the spread of infectious diseases in our cat population, decrease animal length to stay, resulting in the opportunity to take more stray surrender cats from Isabella County, thus increasing the spay, neuter, surgeries, and adoptions. There's some pictures and other resources that are attached with this right here. They're requesting $40,000. The cost of the catteries itself, equipment installation, is $36,000 to $1,174, and the remaining $37.89 would be used for cat enrichment and other stuff for the animals. This is a medium priority.
Okay, any discussion on that? We have a motion on the floor that's been supported. This motion will just send these over to the tribe where they'll make the decisions on which ones they accept and which ones they don't. So everybody understand what we're voting on? With that, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Swaney, Commissioner Hope, Commissioner Campbell, Commissioner Jalzinski,
Yes.
Commissioner Marino, Commissioner Engler.
Yes.
6 ayes, 0 nays. Motion passed, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we have no intergovernmental affairs, no administrator controller comments. No unfinished business, so let's move right into new business. And Commissioner Moreno, I think we're up to you. Would you like to make that motion?
Motion reads, move to accept and place on file fiscal year 2024 annual comprehensive financial report and supplementary information to financial statements, federal awards.
Support.
Been moved by Moreno, supported by Jalzinski. You want to start off with the discussion?
Just
Pretty-
a quick comment. There was a presentation at the Finance Committee of the Whole on the audit. I want to commend our new finance director, Chris Whitmer, who hit the ground running in January and did a great job on getting this done. There were some comments made, which is not unexpected, but she's already started the process of correcting quite a few of them. And so look for a, a cleaner audit next year. There was no financial impropriety or any other thing going on, just comments on more policy related. One was related to reporting, things that did not involve any loss of funds for the county.
Okay, any comments? Yep, it was pretty clean overall. So at this point, Madam Roll Call.
Commissioner Hope,
Yes.
Commissioner Campbell,
Yes.
Commissioner Delzinski,
Yes.
Commissioner Marino, Commissioner Swaney,
Yes.
Commissioner Engler.
Yes.
6 ayes, 0 nays. Motion passed, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, at this time, we need to.
What was the motion to go into closed session?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on here.
Oh, it's on there, okay.
We got it. At this time, we need to go into closed session for collective bargaining strategy. We will have to clear the room and negotiate, and then we will continue.
Move that first.
There's a motion right there.
Yes.
General public comments
Our
first.
general public comments first.
Up to the chair.
Okay, well, we'll do the general public comment. Because sometimes we're a little bit long in here, sometimes it's quick. So depending on negotiations can kind of take more time than others. So we'll open it up to general public comment. We will limit it. Please sign in, say your name, limit to 3 minutes.
Segment on WNEM News reporting that how the health department is encouraging homeowners to take responsibilities for their own waste management, and they're wanting to implement it in 2025. And I know you guys know this because Terry Hutchinson brought it to our attention at our town board meeting a year ago. In light of this development, I respectfully ask the two commissioners to engage with the health department and ask for their recommendations to the Nodwood Township to delay the implementation of the system they want to put in around Hawaii Lake. One reason for this request is that example raised by the Hawaii Lake resident during our township board meeting. He reported of a couple neighbors dumping into waste into the lake. While this is unacceptable, the purpose of the system penalizes homeowners with well-functioning systems who do not live on the lake. It's unjust to impose such burden. Again, I'm stressing that people are going to the board crying and saying they will lose their homes. I have several neighbors that have just purchased I don't know what they're called, outground, they just paid it off, $17,000 that they have to crush. Tell me that this is unfair and unjust. It's unfair to demand that poor residents subsidize a system that primarily benefits those who need it. I respectfully request that the commissioners and health department ask Nodwood Township to stop the system to have individuals take care of their own septic systems. If you two, I know you two are on board with the health department, if you want to ask questions, there's a lot of us opposing this that have a lot of acknowledge that the township is not even letting us know. In fact, I just received information that I could contact our lawyer, which they told us we could not. So therefore, hey, you're not telling us everything. And if you want to sit with us and get our side of things, so we can get this null and void. Again, it's not mandatory. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Okay, would somebody else like to come up and comment?
Karen Hustle, Deerfield Township. Currently, Isabella County manages its own recycling at the MRF with a greater than $300,000 loss to the county each year. We're in the process of signing agreements to take recycle, or possibly have already signed agreements to take recycle from 7 neighboring counties, with the hope that the additional material, bigger machines, bigger facilities will lead to a profit for the county. If that happens, that'd be great. That government functions rarely ever generate more revenue than they consume. I've asked several commissioners about it. They've said that they hope it will be a profit, but I've yet to have a single commissioner tell me that they're confident that it'll be a profit. My question for you is this simple question. If this new agreement does lead to a financial loss, possibly even greater than our current financial loss, have these other 7 counties agreed to share that financial loss? Or will the Isabella County taxpayers bear that expense alone since it's our MRF that the recycle is being brought to? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Presco.
Pretty good. I'm gonna try to do this so I can read the whole. Okay, so we just heard a little bit about the recycling center, and I would like to reiterate what was just said. You all seem bent sideways about assuring that we are moving forward with a multi-county recycling center. Besides many of you, or most of you up here, support this, but yet I've not talked to one person that supports the recycling center as you move forward the way that you have it set up. Instead, I've heard from a lot of people that they would like to see it privatized. Please show us why your recycling center is better than privatization. This is not an astronomical request, but I am going to request that you show us those numbers. Show us the 5-year plan for the recycling center as you have put it forward, and show us what it looks like to privatize recycling and give it to someone else and put it in their hands. Transparency is important. We all know that. This would be an example of that. But speaking of transparency, I want to bounce back to the county building because I'm still stuck on the county building and the decision that was made. I was provided with the original bid on the county building as well as the change order to entirely demolish the inside. That bid seems to have read an additional $40,000 to demolish the building rather than just cleaning and with everything provided as was put forward originally by all others that had bid on that project. It was concerning to read in the change order, and I'm going to quote this. Removing the walls does give greater flexibility in the redesign process without limiting the space utilization by existing wall construction or utilities, unquote. However, it has been confirmed that while all else was demolished, furniture was saved and is safely being stored. Make it make sense, you guys. This does not make sense. The statement that I just read you really reads as motivation to demo the building rather than restore what was bid on. This is a prime example of why trust has been lost in this county. We currently still have almost all of our employees that are without a place to stay. As you move forward with the potential talks and discussions on the county building, I highly recommend you give options to the public. I get a double whammy in this county because I am also a resident of Union Township. And as much as I disagree with the astronomical building that they have proposed, it was all public, it was all detailed, and it was all there. Make it make sense. Show us what you want to do and give us options. Show us what it would look like. Is it going to cost just a little bit more to build an entirely new building out to the jail? Do we want to have to look at doing that in another 30 years? Show us, you guys, make it make sense and be transparent. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Moggenberg. Is there anybody else who would like to come up and comment, please? Is there anybody online at this time or on the phone? Okay, I will close the public comment. And this time we will ask the public to leave because we need to go into closed door session. We haven't made it yet.
Okay.
We haven't made the motion yet. Yes, sir.
That we enter closed session under section 8C of the Open Meetings Act to discuss collective bargaining strategy.
It's been moved by Jalzinski, supported by Swaney to enter into closed door session. Madam Clerk, the roll call, please.
Commissioner Swaney? Commissioner Hope? Commissioner Campbell?
Yes.
Commissioner Jalzinski? Commissioner Marino? Commissioner Engler? 6 ayes, 0 nays, motion passed, Mr. Chairman.
As the room is cleared, we'll enter into closed door session. Please turn off your mics.
Need copies of all this, right?
Yes, thanks. Oh. Nope.
Announcements. Does any commissioner has an announcement? Commissioner Jazinski.
So I attended the Northern Michigan Counties Association meeting yesterday, and it was an interesting meeting. They, because of the weather, there were quite a few people missing, some online. The problem online is
Can't vote.
they get fading out. Some of it's talk, and then it just going to nothing. So there, we didn't get much of a presentation from Mac, but we did have a House Representative present. They talked about what's going on in the legislature. And they're working on the budget, which is supposed to be done by July 1st. Didn't have any hope for that. He said both parties are posturing at this time. It's kind of like new grounds. But budget may not even be adopted to October 1st, which is going to be a hardship for the schools because they're going to have to adopt their budget. They won't know what they're getting from the state. But apparently the legislature is wants to hold the school funding stable. And they'll probably pass something. And they're looking at road funding. They want to try to find more money to provide to local units. And they've got some plans for that we can't agree with. But they'll probably come up with something before July. But the problem is, I don't know, 7 or 8 different segments of the budget. And they may approve these going along, but said it's high bar, which means even though they approve 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 segments, they all have to be approved before they actually become law. There was some talk about the material management plan. Apparently that it's going to be a reimbursement option now as you move the plan forward. And some counties are saying it's going to be a hardship. MAC is trying to work to get that changed to provide some funding. Funding that was going to come to finance this was a proposal to increase tipping costs. However, the one roadblock that came in is they want to increase the tipping costs for Canadian trash coming into Michigan, and also the same amount for local businesses and residents. And the legislature is kind of thinking, well, no, why would we want to charge our own people as much as we're going to increase it for Canada? So that's got to be a kind of a plan that issue that has to be worked out. Well, I did find really interesting, they had a special program by a Marilyn Passmore, who's employed by Charter for the Director of Government Affairs. He's talking about moving broadband in the rural areas of the state. And her presentation, I was surprised to see it, the grants that they've gotten, none of them included Isabella County. So when it came up to question and answer, I said, is there any way, because I know there's other providers that are getting grant monies too, besides Charter Spectrum, that we can get a resource to see a particular county can see where maybe monies are coming in or where the underserved areas are. And she said that you could go to Michigan Broadband Map. When I went to that this morning, when I got up and I looked at it, it's kind of busy at first because there's all these little dots, but when you get in close, you can actually see the map. And I drew up Isabella County and I went through and I was quite surprised that Isabella County is pretty well covered with broadband, and even in some of the rural areas. I didn't have a chance to look at them all, but there is good coverage. But I know that there are providers that are looking for these band grants. In fact, we got an email for one asking for a letter of support. So there's still some areas that are not served, and hopefully we can come up with a letter of support for any entity that's seeking those dollars, because it's very competitive.
There's a lot of silos and grain bins that's got antennas on them now, so they've been really expanding in Isabella County, so. And a lot of the agriculture uses technology now that uses, they need that, so you can use the WAS system, bounce it off the satellite, but it's not as accurate as what the new technology needs, so. Commissioner Sweeney, you're done. Yes.
Council of Governments is meeting tomorrow night, 7 at Denver Township. And so Senator Hope and Representative Meyer are supposed to be there.
And I think, I think Gaddis is gonna be the 911, is gonna be the speaker. I
Oh, yeah,
believe.
that's right.
Yes, he is going to be there doing a presentation.
I'll be
Okay, anybody else? Okay, with that, I will ask for a motion to adjourn. Adjourn. I didn't think you wanted to do it. I know, that's like, wait a minute. Usually I can't even get done in some ways, make a motion by Hope and supported by Sweeney. All in favor, signify by aye. Aye. Opposed, same. That doesn't need roll call, does it?
No, is 6:30 okay for?
6:30 is exactly 6:30, 48, 49, 50 seconds, 51.
very efficient, I'd say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
My microphone was off. You want me to do my announcements again?
This might have picked it up here.